So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So this is going to be my deep dive into the Super Fast exclusive Zoro, which is arriving to OPTC just hours after this video. It's a bit later than usual. I was out for some socialization with workmates. But yeah, I'm back home. I've been really thinking about this, and I will say that I was pretty down on Zoro from the beginning, and he's still definitely a bit flawed, especially for his main usage in Super Boss, where he's just incredible busy work. But in general, like, he's not as bad as we've been, I guess, overreacting. But I'm going to both present the good sides and the bad side, and we look a bit at partners for Zoro, and we'll talk about him in PvP. But yeah, usually I start by looking at the actual unit in like the bazaar or the tavern or something, but this time we're actually going to just jump in, because going into a battle and checking captain actions is the only real way to get a very good look at Zoro's different captain abilities. So you press the menu and captain abilities here, we do get the Zoro Enma, which has been added. So I'd say the main issue with Zoro is that we've been talking a bit too much about his normal captain ability, which is what you start with, and his draw Enma captain ability, or unleash Enma, whatever you should say, the absolute best captain ability. But really the captain ability that we should focus a bit more on is the one in the middle, the normal Enma one. But let's back up a bit first. So basically Zoro has a gauge. In order to fill the gauge, you have to consume 1 orbs. If you consume 10 1 orbs, you can get the best captain ability with the unleashed Enma. So that's basically the goal when using Zoro. And yeah, basically as you have a stronger Enma, you take more damage. And if you take too much damage, you lose your captain ability basically. So bit of a double-edged sword. So like, if you can't lose any more HP, you become a 2x attack captain, which is obviously incredibly low. But yeah, let's start with the standard captain ability. Zoro is a strength, quick dex, CD reducer, -2 CD, kind of like Luffy Yamato. Slasher and Free Spirit gets an extra -1 CD. But in terms of classes, he only buffs Slasher and Free Spirit, 5.25 times attack, 1.5 times HP. Tandem are matching. And in the normal form, if you hit against type effectiveness when you have a recover a tandem orb, that becomes a 1 orb the following turn. So when we only knew that, it looked very underwhelming, to say the least. But basically what we know now is that you should basically never be in this form. Like, maybe if it's some super long content and you can't lose HP all the time, it's not the best. But in like basically any content we get now, you should right away use Enma. Because this Enma captain action, you can use it anytime you want. You can use it when you consumed 0 1 orbs, or if you consumed 9. And basically this captain ability will make it a lot easier to get 1 orbs. And you also get a bit higher captain ability. The only downside is that you take 50% HP cut at the end of every turn, which is of course unfortunate. But yeah, there's 2 other big differences to this Enma captain ability. The first is that any recovery orb you have becomes 1-0. And other than that, when you hit enemy with type effectiveness now, you get a guaranteed 1 orb. You don't need a recovery or tandem orb. So this makes it a lot easier to get the 10 1 orbs you need. Finally, this captain action Enma captain ability, like, it's basically the same as Kinemon and Tenjiro. the old duo unit, and they were also really strong, of course. But you have this on a base 5.5 times attack unit with a very good special in terms of damage. So yeah, you get that very good. Like, one of the complaints with Zoro is the lack of utility, but getting one orbs that easily is definitely a kind of utility that is valuable, so we can't just ignore that. And I wouldn't say you should run two Zoro. Like, one Zoro together with a very good utility captain or such could be pretty valuable. But yeah, once you've got your 10 Wano orbs, you can get to the draw Enma captain ability. Now you take 60% damage at the end of turn, so basically you only use this when you know you're going to get the kill, and that's the end of the content. You want to get to the end. Now the captain ability is 5.75 times attack. You got all the other good stuff from the base Enma captain ability, but now we also add rainbow damage for Zoro. He will deal super effective damage against any color, and if there's any damage limit on the enemy, you can hit twice as much as that, which is a bit weird, but whatever. Still worse than Frankie in that regard, but sure, it's a bonus. And if you hit with Zoro with a tandem or one orb, you increase damage taken to all enemies by 1.5 times for 1 turn, ignoring immunity to status effects. That's obviously very valuable. You can ignore full immunity, get that increased damage taken, which synergizes with Zoro's special, and means you don't have to rely on Luffy Yamato on the team. So that's a very good bonus. And yeah, the main issue with the draw Enma is that, like, Zoro focusing on damage will mostly want to do damage against super bosses, but in order to get Enma ready, like, it's very hard to do that. You need some support to get recovery / one orbs. We look at some of that then, but in super boss you don't really give up one space just for getting easier orbs. So unless Bandai wants to, we're probably not getting the max Enma Zoro against super bosses. But we could get the 5.5 times attack captain ability Enma, the base Enma, which is honestly pretty decent. Like, if you face a strength boss with this quick Zoro, that's definitely going to be pretty decent for sure. But of course, having this Enma captain ability means you give up like super class, super type, stuff like that. With that said, let's get out of the captain ability talk. We spent quite a bit of it already. Let's look at the rest of Zoro's PvE kit. So yeah, now we can see that Zoro is Slasher, Free Spirit, Quick with Super Tandem. And have I actually looked at his support? I can't remember. What does he do? Oh yes, I remember now. It's for Usopp and Frankie. Amazing support, by the way. They finally get an end final stage CD reducing support, and they also get a one orb and a self HP cut. Like, amazing support altogether. But yeah, Zoro special, like, it's very good. Like, it doesn't have any utility, which is one of the biggest downside of this unit in general. But yeah, does a lot of damage to all enemies. Slasher Free Spirit, 3.25 times attack boost for 2 turns. If Captain is Slasher or Free Spirit class, you get that increased damage taken conditional, 2.25 times for 2 turns, and Zoro can proc that himself if you're able to get the Unleashed Enma, or you can pair with something like Luffy Yamato, for example, to get that increased damage taken through full immunity. If character slot is Wano and special is launched, you change the attack multiplier of tandem slots to 2.5 times, which is a pretty cool bonus since that basically means tandem orbs become Wano orbs, which is obviously useful. And after doing that, he changes his own Wano slot to tandem, which is very cool because now tandem orbs are as strong as Wano, and you can change to tandem despite having a Wano orb. This is our first ever changing an unchangeable orb. Like, it has been impossible before, both by yourself and by enemies. So, very interesting. As for the Super Tandem, there's been a lot of talk about this. It's actually very nice that Hiyori is part of the condition, since letting Hiyori is maybe one of the best partners for this Zoro. But yeah, you get a tandem attack boost 2.5 times for Slasher and Free Spirit, and any conditional gets a plus 0.25 times, plus 0.25 damage boost. So as we've already covered, this is basically the same as Nami, but just slightly weaker. But not to the extent that it matters. Like, if you use this Zoro, there's no reason to use Nami on that team. And it's not like you have to fit Nami. It's fine to use this Zoro instead. It depends on who's best for the team you build for a particular super boss. Good Super Tandem. Wouldn't say it's a rush to max it, but you definitely like some friend with it. Because I really think that Zoro shines the most as friend captain in Super Boss, mostly because that enables you to use one more Zoro, and any Zoro fits very well with the kind of team you want to use this Zoro in. He himself gets a one orb at start of the quest, and he's immune to paralysis, both pretty whatever sailors, to be honest. Not that great at all. But yeah, pretty interesting asset. My opinion has changed a bit on him. The Enma Captain ability is actually pretty good. It's like Kinemon Denjiro on steroids, basically. And the reward in the end is that you get a very powerful Captain ability that, if it was just a bit easier to get, this Zoro will be godlike. But the fact that it's such a hassle to get the Unleashed Enma Captain ability does stop him from being as great as he could have been. But I still think it could be pretty cool in normal content. Let's see some potential teammates. First, I put some teammates that can help you get Wano orbs. Obviously, Hiyori is the big one. Hiyori can even help getting that Super Tandem off. But yeah, basically, Hiyori gives you a straight up full board of Wano at the start of the quest. And as long as you hit against color affinity, you keep the Wano orb. So potentially you can get Enma fully charged in just 2 turns, since you start with a full board of Wano orbs. The others are not bad either, like Bonnie, Shirahoshi and Straussen all gives you a full board of recovery at the start of the quest. And remember that when Zoro activates his base Enma captain action, those recovery orbs become tandems. So basically, all of them also give a full board of Wano at start of the quest. And they are all pretty good utility units that could see some legit use, and they are all boosted by Zoro, either by being Free Spirit or Slasher. Finally, another cool one is Bon Clay, since you actually are able to change him to what fits for the content, so could get like another quick unit maybe. If you face on quick content, you can even put Bon Clay as captain, and you get that quick super type as well, which is not bad. But the main thing is that Bon Clay has the seed reduction, so you can use him very early, get a full board of recovery, which you change to Wano. And with the Iwanko support on Bon Clay, you lock those orbs as well. So you are basically guaranteed to charge Enma in 2 turns, which is very dope. Obviously, some of the other units here could do something similar, but they set the orbs by sailors. Bon Clay actually uses a special, so you can proc a support while doing it. But yeah, other than that, I thought we look at some potential Slasher and Free Spirit teammates. As for Slashers, the Oden Toki, as expected, is a pretty good partner. Zoro handles the attack boost, and Oden Toki, with the special, handles the color affinity, a very big color affinity. You even get a big Slasher resistance reduction. And of course, with the Super Swap, you can also get a 2.5 times Zoro boost, which is perfectly fine, of course. Zoro Sanji is a surprisingly decent hybrid to use, because mainly because the super type is able to, not the super type, is special, is able to apply increased damage taken, so you can get that potential extra damage from Zoro special by getting the increased damage taken applied to the enemy, and then use Zoro special to get the conditional for that. But other than that, it's a shame that Zoro Sanji is Dex and Scion. Obviously, Zoro isn't that. Smoothie, very cool, quick like Zoro, slasher like Zoro, and one of very few slashers that have the chain boundary, which is of course one of the most important chain buffs you can have. I think we do carrot next. Just complements Zoro's attack boost with an ore boost, and of course, as when Karen boosts up to Captain, you ignore all defensive effects, and she sets defense to 0 if you have her at max level limit break, so that makes things very easy, of course. And Scabbers are pretty poor synergy with Zoro. The main thing with Scabbers I want to note is that they have a very good final tap, and if you do a mono slasher team, like, you do so much extra damage with Scabbers, so it's worth trying to fit them, even if it is probably pretty hard. They do attack boost like Zoro, so that's very bad. As for Free Spirit, we got some pretty nice options, like if you want to face on strength content or want quick super type, we have both final tap Luffy and Super Tandem Shanks, like Luffy actually has some built-in recovery orb manip. Like Luffy's special changes all type orbs to recovery, so together with Zoro that's Wano. And you get a nice chain boost as well. And Zoro's attack boost lets Luffy do a pretty decent ore boost at least, so not totally useless with Zoro, while Shanks of course can potentially change the enemy to strength, which Zoro appreciates. Like, especially if you don't have the Unleashed Enma ready. And of course, Shanks does a big chain boost and call affinity, which works well. Sabo, good option for chain boundary. Yamato can apply increased damage taken and maybe do some one ore manip. And Rayleigh Gaban, very good utility in Captain. Ore boost complements Zoro. Decent potential option. There are many good free spirit options to choose from, of course, best class in the game. Finally, let's look at some potential super boss here. And yeah, that's a Rainbow Sandy. I've not shown it yet, but I ended up doing it. Oops. Don't expect me to complete the trio though. I don't see myself pulling more than one Zoro. But yeah, the way this will work is that Zoro will be Friend Captain. This lets you use Anniversary Zoro. So Friend Captain Zoro handles attack boost and the increased damage taken conditional. Luffy Yamato handles the increased damage taken and handles the attack boost and call affinity with Super Swap. Robin lets you get the death time conditional and lets you stack two conditionals together. Zoro gives you the remaining chain buffs that Sunny doesn't handle, so it's Zoro and Sunny together, you get every possible chain buff in the game basically. And if you felt like that was lacking, we can add Ace and add the remaining ones. And basically what you do here is that you'd start with Sanji, do the rush, then you hit into Ace and Luffy. This will proc Ace's Super Tandem, which buffs damage for the quick units, so Robin and Zoro will hit harder. And you also get unimaginable high chain. And then we just finish off with Robin and Zoro and do tons of damage. That's basically the plan. You can even finish with Robin if you want to get a final tap, of course. Robin final tap is perfectly fine. 2.25 times extra chain, so yeah, going to be fun to see just how chain we can get with this. I don't know if you can use this for the next super boss. I've not really looked at it yet, they look pretty bad. But this is like a potential thing you could do. Finally, before ending the video, let's take a look at Zoro in PvP. And yeah, he does look pretty impressive. Ability, Free Spirit, HP up level 6, Death up level 6, Guard up level 6. He can revive once to 50% HP. When Luffy is on the team, Free Spirit speed up level 5, blow away up percent level 5. So he basically does anything you can want except for like an attack up in rumble ability, but we can live with that. I don't know about blow away. I've said this before. I don't think that's super good. You want the enemy to be together. You don't want to blow them away, so you split them up. But other than that, very cool, of course, to get like everything you want. And you continue to get everything you want from the special. Here in the special, 33 CT a bit high, but I think it's manageable. You target free spirit teammates for guard, def up level 5, and provoke. And all this for 30 seconds, like these new PvP legends do so long buffs, and that's going to notice because usually the buffs look impressive, but then it says 10 seconds, they go away right away. This is like going to keep being up until you use Zoro again, which is crazy. The remaining HP is 50% or below. You target teammates within medium range for an attack and def up level 5. So just more def up, why not? And when Luffy is on the team, he targets himself for attack up level 6 and attack times 4 counter stance. And that's going to be very interesting. To be honest, I'm not very knowledgeable about counter stance. From what I understood, counter stance takes the damage he receives and adds them on top of your normal damage, not special damage, but the more damage you do with normal attacks. And this hasn't really been much noticeable, I'd say, so far, but like a unit like the Super Tandem Luffy, which is a very common user of counter. He had a 2 times counter. Another common counter user, which is the old Final Tap Law, he was a 1.5 times counter. Like, this is a big jump in counter damage, so I'll just say, let's wait and see how it does. I think it will surprise people with how much damage that will add. And with this, it looks like free spirit is pretty broken, like Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji together. Will be interesting to try for sure. Resistance, evade action bind, reduce damage taken from strength and driven by 30%. Yeah, not much to complain about there. It's fine. I just realized that Zoro has GP stats, of course. I honestly not looked at them. Leader scale, free spirit, attack HP up level 6, special city speed up level 2, slashers get recover, speed critical up, and quick gets guard, speed def up level 3, so looks fine. Quick is unfortunate, but what can you do? Zoro is quick after all. Burst, the enemy uses Rumble special 7 times, so it should be pretty reliable to get. Targets 3 high def enemies, ignoring def, will lead the base attack 2.5 times damage. Targets 2 teammates with low current HP for def up level 6. Yeah, that's useless. I didn't miss anything by not looking at it. No reason to use this Zoro in GP, but that goes for a lot of legends. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll probably do some multis tomorrow, not more than 10 I think, and then we'll see what I do after that. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. See you next time.